Hey everyone, so this video will be a follow-up to my Virtual Math 21 session on Saturday morning about intuition, simulation, and calculation. And so this is going to be our ultimate goal. What we have is we have a 4-sided dice and a 10-sided dice. And I'm rolling those two dice, and I'm computing the mean of the two rolls. And then what I'm doing is I'm taking this mean and I'm sticking it into this list that is called all means. And right now, as it stands, I've got 260 elements in my all means list. And then I've created a dot plot of those, and I've also computed the mean of all of those means. So every time I click on the roll the dice button, I add one more random GeoGebra dice roll into the mix. And if I click on the roll 10 times button, I add 10 rolls to that mix. And this button can be easily modified to create a roll 100 times. So let me walk you through how to do this, and it might take about 5 minutes. We're going to see. So I'm going to go back to GeoGebra, and I like to use GeoGebra Classic for this. So I'm going to click on GeoGebra Classic. And what I'm going to do is it's noticing that, hey, you've got something else that's there that has not been saved yet. So I'm going to name this D4, and D4 is going to be one of my 4-sided dice. So that is a random between from 1 to 4. And I'm going to do the same thing for the 10-sided dice, which is D10. And I'm going to call it random between from 1 to 10. And I'm going to put these two dice into a list. And that list is going to be called dice. And the list is with curly braces. And I will go D4 and comma D10. And so what I need to do now is I need to create some buttons to help me randomize my dice. So I'll go to the button tool is underneath the slider tool, the second menu option from the right. Go down to button, click in an empty space. My caption is going to be roll the dice, and my command is update construction. I'll put that tool away when I'm done. And every time I click on the roll the dice button, it re-randomizes my rolls. So what I would like to do now is I would like to compute the mean of the dice. So I will call this mean. It will be M equals mean of the dice list. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to take each of those means and put them in the all means list, which right now is going to be blank. And so every time I click on this roll dice, I would like to take, for example, this 4 and stick it into this all means list. So I'm going to right click on my button, and I'm going to add a little bit of GeoGebra script to it by going to the settings. And going under the scripting tab, I will go to the next line and set the value of the all means list to the appended to the all means list, M. So what this is doing is this is setting the value of my current all means list, and it's replacing it with all means with the mean stuck in the end. That's what the append means. And so let's close that puppy up. And now every time I click on roll the dice, it takes the mean and sticks it in there. And so now I can do a dot plot. So in the dot plot, what I'm going to do is the list is, of course, all means. And what I'm going to do is after I click OK, I'm going to stretch out my axis a little bit. And so every time I click on my button, I get a new roll and it's stuck in there. So what would be nice to have now, would be a button that I can click on to reset everything. So I'll go up here to my button again and click on that, and this will be a reset. And what I want to do is I want to set the value of all means to be the empty list. Click OK, I'll put that tool away. And so once I click on reset, it clears everything out and I can start again. It would be nice to know how many trials I've taken. So in the input line here, I can compute the length. I can only spell length correctly. The length of all means. And so right now I have 11. And so what I'd like to do is I'd like to add one more button. So this button right here, if I right click on it, this is button number 1. And if I go to the settings of this button, I go to the script settings, all of my commands are in the on click tab. In other words, it is only executed when the button is clicked on. And what I could do is I could refer to these commands using what's called as a run click script command. So let me show you how to create a button which will quickly do 10 trials. So I'll click on the button tool, plop it down there, run 10 trials. And so the script is going to look like this. I'm going to repeat 10 times. And the thing I'm going to repeat 10 times is I'm going to execute. And then in the execute, you want to put it in a list. And then in quotes, run, click, script of button 1. And then I need to close up my parenthesis for the execute command and my parenthesis for the repeat command. So when I click on this button, it's going to run the script that's in button number 1. It's going to run that 10 times. So let's click OK. And so when I click on this, right now I've got 20 numbers in my list. If I click on that, oh, forgot to put my tool away. And so now it went to 30, and if I click on it again, it keeps adding 10 trials. And it's not a big deal to increase this to maybe 100. So if I go to the settings, go to scripting, and if instead of 10 times, I could do it 100 times. And I could go to the basic tab and make that go 100 times. A little slower, because it's trying to execute those 100 spins, and if you're in a browser, and a web browser, it could go a little slower than that. So I think running 10 trials at a time is probably appropriate. But it's a quick way to get a lot of trials in your simulation done in a hurry. So that's that. Give this a try, and if you have any trouble, reach out to me on Twitter.